I believe that we have a monadic essence that exists in 7-dimensional hyperspace. And this has certain spin properties, and the spin properties of that monadic essence is like a Kalubi-Yau space in modern physics. It creates material bodies surrounding that central point. And it's the interaction of light emerging from within that illuminates the matters of these different bodies. Many unknowns, really just about human history and our origins and extraterrestrials. There's just so many unknowns.
Well, and the greatest unknown, of course, Christopher, is the universe. And whether there's multi-universes or just one, multi-dimensions or just what we are in, it's very perplexing, because I think it all leads back to some kind of intelligent design. It just doesn't happen by accident.
No, I absolutely agree. I think I believe in intelligent design, that there's creative life principle, and I mean, I believe that not only there's intelligent design, but it's actually that design manifests the formula. The 1 is divided by 3 to give 7. Just like the Godhead has a triune nature and creates 7 planes of being. So the 1-3-7 principle, I think, is a fundamental principle of intelligent design that's evident in all phenomena of nature.
Does physics prove any of this?
Well, I mean, take the physical world. What's it composed of? Protons, electrons, and neutrons, 3 types of particles, and 7 rows of elements in the periodic tables. Okay?
And maybe a few more we don't even know about.
There's 1, 3, 7. Take light. Divide light by a 3-sided prism, gives you a spectrum of 7 colors. See, they're both examples of the 1, 3, and 7. If you look at particle families in physics, there are 3 main particle families: hadrons, leptons, and gluons, which are the messenger particles. It's 3 main families of particles. Each of those exists in 3 dimensions. So really, yeah, again, it's these laws of 3 and 7. I studied these in the area of science because most scientists always think dualistically. Like they think there's matter and energy. Well, now in the new science, there's not only matter and energy, there's also information, which is latent within the medium. So it's called third force science. Dean Radin talks about this. It's called and Talbot does. It's third force science. That information is latent within space. So whereas we always saw things dualistically, now we're arriving at the idea of the triunity of nature.
Okay, your website, of course, is zeropoint.ca, because you're in Canada, zeropoint.ca. We'll be back with final phone calls with Dr. Christopher Holmes.
I've been doing a series of reviews. To explain what I teach, I'm starting to do critiques of other people's work to contrast my own work with theirs. Like I'm doing a critique of The Secret and doing a critique of Down the Rabbit Hole.
Tell me about your thought of The Secret, because that's a hot movie right now.
Well, I think there are elements of value in it, but I mean, to consider that is the secret is completely fanciful, and there are far deeper secrets. In fact, most mystical teachings, they're concerned with how do we get beyond this level of reality created by all these attractions and repulsions, like how do we get free of this matrix of creation. And in a way,
well, do you think it was well done? Did it get the message across?
Got different messages. I think there's far too much focus that it's just our thoughts that create reality. Like I see us as 3-brained beings. We function mentally, emotionally, and physically. Okay, so like to create your own reality, it's not just a matter of thinking and conceiving it. It's also the emotional aspect of it, because The thought is given form within the heart. In Kabbalah, the heart is that which gives form to the attributes. So it needs to be a combination of the thoughts and the emotional center, and then also the physical action. So I think for people to manifest things, you want to, it's the thinking, feeling, and action, all three components. The fellow on Oprah stressed that when he spoke of the secrets. He talked about the threefoldness of the process. In other ways, I thought the movie focuses far too much on kind of materialistic goals and enhancement of ego and money and status and such, rather than it's the thinking, feeling, and action, all three components. The fellow on Oprah stressed that when he spoke of the secrets. He talked about the threefoldness of the process. In other ways, I thought the movie focuses far too much on kind of materialistic goals and enhancement of ego and money and status and such, rather than mystical goals, which is really surrender of the egoic nature to realize your deeper self. And that's a far more deeper and secret process.
A heart that's not real at all, it's mechanical. How does that fit in with your view?
Well, see, I'm saying that really the heart has different dimensions to it, okay? That the physical heart, psychical, spiritual, and then the ultimate divine element within the higher dimensions of the heart. So although a person might have the physical heart replaced by a mechanical device, it's still within the space of the heart. Like the essential heart center is what I would call the bliss sheath, which is...
So it's not the heart you're talking about, it's the area of the heart. It's like the center of chi.
Yeah. It's in the physics of the 0-point fields. Okay, but that sustains the heart. Normally, your own psychical heart ensouls your physical heart. But if the heart's removed and you have a mechanical device, your psychical heart is still there. It would be very interesting to examine the feeling qualities of people who have had a mechanical heart inserted. It likely takes some time to feel their feelings as fully for a while.
Yeah.
But I imagine that would be restored, though, over time. I don't know. That would be my expectation.
So what you're saying
see, in psychology, people don't today even think you feel feelings in your heart. They think you feel feelings up in your head, in the limbic system. There's no psychology of the heart. But how many people go and tell your loved one, I love you with all my head? People don't. In a way, we know we feel feelings in the heart. There's no understanding of how that actually works. And I believe the body is ensouled through the action of the heart, through the infusion of soul energies into the blood. And it's related to the process of oxygenation. Your soul is connected to breathing. Like in Genesis, God breathes into man a living soul. So the heart and soul action are both connected to what I'm saying is your true self, this heart center in higher dimensional space.
Okay.
There's a physics to it. It's a complex subject, but I've tried to introduce aspects of it.
Is there any kind of machinery that can start registering some of this?
That's a very interesting question. I don't know. I'm not... I would think so. I mean, it's electromagnetic phenomena. I'm saying there's this bliss sheath I would describe in the heart. I would describe it as a mass of unemergent light. So that there may be ways of detecting, if not that, at least its influence. I really don't know. It's an interesting question. Well, I'm a psychologist and a clinical psychologist, and then I worked in prisons for 12 years. So I have experience in forensic legal settings and in courts and detention centers and so on. So that's my background, but my lifelong interest has been in the psychology of consciousness, and I'm interested in the science of it and the science of the mystical teachings. When I worked in prisons, I was able to apply and develop a new model of offender rehabilitation based on this work. Because today in corrections, the main approach is cognitive behavioral. And the idea is that you alter the cognitions to effect behavioral change. But see, in all of modern psychology, there is no psychology of the heart and soul. So I developed something called awakening of consciousness and the heart in criminal offenders, because I think the root cause of criminal activity is the deadening and restriction of the heart, and that people lose their essence feeling in the heart, and that's when they turn to violence and have such other life issues.
Some of the things that you have worked on, I mean, do you believe that there is life after death, Christopher?
Yeah, I believe we live in a multi-dimensional universe, yeah, that we have different bodies, we can exist in different planes and afterlife realms. And in a way, your afterlife conditions are determined by your psychological makeup, because it'll tend to correspond to your current psychology.
What do you believe that afterlife is? Another dimension? What's the process?
There are other dimensions at different vibrational frequency ranges within the 0.1